Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto. So let's just dive in. And let's start off with this video. It is about a minute and 42 seconds long. This is from Crypto Law with John E. Dean. And we do see, again, the decision in the SEC versus Ripple case is the biggest verdict in global finance history. The pressure is on like no other for Judge Torres to make a verdict on the case. This should be a no-brainer, as XRP is clearly not a security. And listen closely to this video.
This decision gets bigger and bigger. So I just want you to think about those of you out there who are thinking about this. Why hasn't she ruled yet? What I doubt very seriously that Judge Torres has ever felt the pressure that she's feeling right now. Ripple is sending, hey, Judge, look what the judge in Voyager said. Look what the Judge Gorsuch of the Supreme Court said about fair notice. All of these things are happening after. She's getting more information. Look at the SEC's conduct. Look at Binance. Look at the CFTC. All of this stuff is happening in the background where you got guys like me saying the regulatory clarity is going to come from her. You've got the library decision. You don't think she's aware of all this? So this decision is as big of a decision that this judge has ever faced. Think about it. What other decision is as big as this decision when it comes to global trade and finance in modern history? I've said before that this case is the most significant non-fraud SEC enforcement action since 1946. So that kind of pressure, personally, I don't blame Judge Torres for being very careful of how she words this decision because A, if it goes against Ripple, she knows it's going up to a conservative court. And if it's for Ripple, she has to justify it and all those things. So just be patient. We're almost at the end. Everybody have a great night. See you next week.
And yeah, I do completely agree. I think that as we start to see more and more news around crypto and the lack of regulatory clarity around this entire sector, I think that we see something much larger brewing behind the scenes, and it's ultimately that first initial major case. Now, yes, there was a case before the SEC versus Ripple with Library, but this to me was one of the largest ones that we've seen so far. And even before Library, there was a few cases within crypto with the SEC, but this case specifically was the largest one that we've seen. And this put everything into motion around the SEC's gross overreach and ultimately just targeting of this entire crypto asset class. Now, also, over here, we do see from Warren Davidson himself, fire Gary Gensler and restructure the SEC. Gensler's 7 failures. 1. Abusing rule proposals by averaging more than 2 new SEC rules per month. Inappropriately short public comment periods. Unworkable and unlawful ESG disclosure mandates. Hotel California rules for crypto, the ability to check in with the SEC anytime but never leave with approval. And also endless discovery with no resolution and no clarity for the SEC's captives or the market. An unworkable proposal for overhauling equity market structure. A de facto ban on crypto through the proposed custody rule. And failing to work with Congress. Yes, I believe that we are finally getting to the point where we are starting to see not only Gary Gensler's failures, but the failures of the SEC itself. This has 260,000 views. We are seeing not only Gary Gensler on the hot seat, but we are also seeing the SEC as an agency have a spotlight on them now. This is a big deal. Over here, we also do see from Crypto Airy. This is what we are, really kind of talking about in terms of like there being no transparency, no answers. Like these are like complete garbage answers that we are seeing around Gary Gensler. I'm sure that you guys probably seen this video already. This has about 40,000 views. Watch closely.
Sir, we have about a $2+ billion budget.
Okay, so how much money have you spent doing that function?
Our oversight of the capital markets, $2+ billion a year.
Does the SEC deserve any culpability in the collapse of FTX?
A number of entities in the crypto field are non-compliant with U.S. law as adopted by Congress over the years, and we're going to be a vigorous cop on the beat to help bring them into compliance.
Respectfully, that's not what I asked. I said, does the SEC deserve any culpability for the collapse of FTX? Yes or no?
Look, I think that when people are defrauding the public, we go after them, and that's what we've done here.
You're not
and
answering my
elsewhere.
question. You're not answering my question. I'm asking you a very simple, straightforward one. Does the SEC deserve any culpability at all?
I understand your question. I'm very proud of the SEC and its staff, and we will continue to pursue.
So you don't believe the SEC deserves any culpability with respect to the collapse of FTX? Reclaiming my time, why didn't the SEC take action on FTX's alleged secret lending of at least $4 billion to Alameda Research?
Again, I'm not able to talk about specific companies or investigations.
I would just like you to answer my question, but that's fine. I would just remind you, at a Bloomberg conference, you said you don't trust industry participants to provide honest feedback. So do you actually benefit from comment periods or no?
Yes, we very much benefit.
So you take back your comments where you said you don't trust their feedback?
The feedback that we get is helpful, and it's part of the robust input from the public.
So you do trust their feedback? Your quote was, you don't trust industry participants to provide honest feedback. Do you or don't you?
We rely on that feedback as part of our ongoing engagement.
The gentleman's
with
time
the
has
public.
expired.
Your obfuscation is amazing. Congratulations.
And this is exactly the problem that we have within the US. I'd personally love to see some action taken, though. I would personally love to see Gary Gensler fired on the spot. This is what we need. We need Gary to get the hell out of here. Because right now, currently, as we stand, the US cannot afford to push this industry outside of this country. We need to innovate, we need to adopt, and we need to accept crypto for what it is. This is the largest innovation in financial history. And even outside of financial history, crypto has the potential to blanket every single major industry, every single major sector, and ultimately reshape the entire world around us and welcome us in to the world of the internet of value. But we won't see that be realized in as we see these individuals like Gary Gensler sitting around, spewing their nonsense, while we see all of these individuals, yeah, sure, right? They're completely going off on him, and he's in the hot seat. But the problem is that there's no action being taken. And I understand we have to jump through loopholes to get these people out. I mean, it's just like anything around our government sector. I mean, if these people are not doing their job, you can't get rid of them immediately. You have to jump through hoops. You have to do this. You have to do that, which is absolutely ridiculous anyways. Listen, if you are not doing your job, you get fired. It's as simple as that. And I question why Gary Gensler has not been fired. But I do think his time is running on a short leash. Pro XRP lawyer wishes anti-crypto SEC chair to be investigated. Here's why. So we do see down here, I look forward to the day Gensler is investigated. In a recent tweet, DCENT, who supports Ripple and XRP token affiliated with it, stated that he believes Gary Gensler should be investigated in the future. His expectation is based aside from other arguments or not pursuing the crimes of Chinese executives in the US markets while attacking the crypto space. And we do see down here, Gary Gensler is an agent for a select few in this country. I look forward to the day he is investigated. And we do see, in terms of that few, he's basically talking about the financial elite of the Wall Street sector. And yes, I believe he is protecting them. We do see the SEC turning a blind eye to Chinese fraudsters, but chasing crypto companies. And this is from Brian Costello. We do see that They turned a blind eye to a fraud that made by a multi-billion-dollar Chinese criminal enterprise and addressed at U.S. investors. Interesting. Gensler does not reveal any details of that case he shared, though, that last year an FBI agent related to that case shared in an interview that he believed there were significant offenses and inquired about the SEC's lack of response. Addressing Gensler and the SEC, Brian Gensler said that by these actions and attacking the crypto space in particular, they are accelerating the collapse of the dollar. Now, remember what I've said about this, right? I do strongly believe that if we continue to push crypto outside of the US, we will start to see countries embracing the power and the potential of crypto and ultimately rising up against the dollar. The dollar 100%, and I believe this right now currently, the dollar 100% needs something like crypto behind it to not only allow it to retain its reserve status, but ultimately usher us into the digital revolution that is coming. It is inevitable. But the problem is that we have these individuals like Gary Gensler and the SEC themselves protecting the Wall Street players and the traditional system. But what they don't understand is that the traditional system is crumbling already. Now, a lot of people believe that this is by plan. I've seen a lot of people saying that, oh, it's President Biden, it's President Biden. I want you guys to understand that presidents and a lot of the individuals around the government sector are just face value cards. What do I mean by that? Well, they're just faces. They're not really speaking to you. Somebody else is putting words in their mouth. There's a lot of, puppeteers, if you will, playing the game. It's not Biden. It's not this. It's not that. Most people are missing out on the much bigger picture here. Yes, I believe that they want to collapse the financial system. I believe that they want to collapse the dollar as well. And all of this is to usher in the Great Reset, or if you will, the New World Order, centered around CBDCs and things that they can control us with through finance. It's ultimately their end goal, and you can start to see things kind of pushing towards that narrative. Obviously, I don't want to go full conspiracy, if you will, but we're kind of starting to see it. And also, like I said, I believe that Gary Gensler 100% needs to be investigated many times on this channel. First off, as you look at this individual, he is worth over $100 million. Granted, yes, he was on the board at times where he was a leader around finance, and he ultimately did close quite a bit of deals with Goldman Sachs. But ultimately, how is this guy worth $100 million? It absolutely makes no sense in my opinion. But as we do see his backing, I mean, listen, there's no doubt in my mind that he's trying to protect the same exact traditional system that he worked for in many years before his SEC career started. For example, like I said, he was a part of Goldman Sachs. He was also a part of the treasury efforts around Goldman Sachs, as well as, guess what? He was formerly chair of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission as well. All of this is centered around the traditional system. In my opinion, he's protecting the same exact players that he was a part of, or I should say working with during his entire career previously to the SEC. This guy's worth over $100 million. It makes zero sense. I strongly believe that he needs to be investigated. And by the way, they don't even know his full-on net worth. They're just saying that it could be worth as much as $119 million. And this was during 2021. I could just imagine what his net worth is today. I would personally love to see something within this. I think that we 100% need to be seeing an investigation around Gary Gensler. Maybe I'm wrong, though. What do you guys think? Do you think that Gary Gensler deserves to be investigated? I mean, as we look at what's happening around the SEC, we know that the entire SEC itself is a full-on joke. I mean, over here, Thinking Crypto 1 actually posted, the courts are the place because they uphold the law, unlike scumbag regulator Gary Gensler, who does not abide by the law. Jay Clayton has got some gall to make these statements after what he did with Ripple and not approving a Bitcoin spot ETF. It further highlights the SEC chairman's seat is beholden to the banking incumbents. Jay Clayton did the bidding when he was there. Now he is in the crypto industry fighting for regulations. You can't make this crap up. And here we have, the courts are not an efficient place to resolve classification issues in securities. Europe is trying to figure out how to bring crypto into the financial system, whereas the US policy is on keeping it out of the system. This is coming from Jay Clayton. If you've been in the XRP community for a while, you know this individual and you know for a fact that he does not care about crypto innovation. During his time at the SEC, he completely attacked the sector as well. while working for competitors around XRP. He was throwing XRP under the bus while saying, oh, Ethereum and Bitcoin. We know his game. We've already looked into his game. Here's another individual that deserves to be investigated. And while they're at it, they should investigate the entire SEC as well. And here we have over here from Mr. Huber. So he actually posted the video of Jay Clayton. Check this out. So Jay Clayton doesn't know if Ethereum is a security because he doesn't know all the facts. Okay, let's have a look at what Clayton did as chairman of the SEC Gov. Can someone forward this video to the journalists at CNBC? Do you care, anyone? Listen closely.
Now these things are secure.
They are, but they can change to not be. So on Ether, I don't know all of the facts, but it has.
Bill Hinman recently outlined the approach we take to evaluate whether a digital asset is a security, and I encourage you to take a look at Bill's speech, which is available on our website.
When we look at how Ether today is operating, at least, we see a highly decentralized network, and we don't see a central third party.
Now these things are secure.
They are, but they can change to not be. So on Ether, I don't know all of the facts, but it has.
Bill Hinman recently outlined the approach we take to evaluate whether a digital asset is a security, and I encourage you to take a look at Bill's speech, which is available on our website.
When we look at how Ether today is operating, at least, we see a highly decentralized network, and we don't see a...
And it just really repeats there just so that you guys can get the clear picture on just what's really happening behind the SEC. This is why I've said that we need to abolish these agencies like the SEC. Because they do no work. They don't put any time and effort in. I ask myself a question every single day. And that question is, what the hell is going on in the United States? We need to get these people out of here. Gary Gensler should 100% be out of the position because he is incompetent to do the work. And he showed this, especially during these hearings. Like, listen, as we look at some of these hearings, this one was the best because we've seen his lack of clarity. We've seen his lack of transparency. And the way that he deflected every single major question was the staple to me. That right there should have been enough for us to say, okay, we're done. Get Gary out. We need something to happen. And I do think that we will get that. I think that we are moving closer and closer to that. We are starting to see, things we're starting to see actions being taken finally. But I question on how long is this going to take? Is there actually going to be any major repercussions for Gary Gensler after this? Or is this all just a big nothing? Because if this is just a big nothing, I can speak for myself and probably a lot of you out there that I'm going to be extremely disappointed. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Others, up that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.